Everybody has quirks. There's no shame in that. These little peculiarities are what give us each unique personalities and characteristics. They're like little splats of odd color complementing the artworks of our lives. Now, that said, I have come to the recent discovery that maybe one of my splatter patterns is a little more out there than usual. It was one of those moments where you say something and your friend takes longer than perhaps socially normal, so you know you chose the wrong dialogue option in the conversation. At first, she didn't believe me when I told her this, the gears in her brain working overtime to process what I just said. Like yours might be if a geologist professor came up to you and said with a straight face, they didn't believe the world was round. It was a donut. So, when I saw the disbelief still swimming in her eyes, as her respect for me was fueling denial, I did what every self-disrespecting individual does. I gave her proof of this quirk. I showed her how I made my bed. I don't know if boys have ever felt this, but I definitely know my girlies have. You know that dread which washes over your spine when you finally go over to a potential boyfriend's place and see absolutely nothing? This isn't a jab to anyone who may be tight on money. I understand the economy is tough and barely anyone is getting paid a living wage. No, the bare apartment types I'm talking about are the ones where the guy has an incredible gaming setup. Think NVIDIA graphics card, PS5 sort of thing. And their bed is a yoga mat. They have one mug in their cupboard that is beyond ship and says something concerning in this context, like, world's best dad. Sir, do you have a son that I'm not aware of? Yeah, well, I immediately clocked that expression of dread on my friend's face when she saw my bed. To make matters worse, I showed her this quirk literally the night before we were set to fly off to Japan. Oops. Now, to be fair to myself, I genuinely thought my friend already knew of this quirk of mine. She has been one of my closest friends since high school, where she just showed up and basically inserted herself into my life against my will. I'm very glad for it now. I was unfortunately a very angsty teen who almost sabotaged one of the best relationships I currently have. And once more, this friend proved to be an incredible person because instead of running for the hills like the girlies who see gamer Michael Myers' apartment, she simply took a deep breath, turned to me, and said the following: "For the love of everything holy, do not tell anyone else this. Like dead-ass girl, this does not pass the vibe check. Hey Amber, I hear you typing in your mind. Do not make this content. Amber, are you even listening to a completely misrepresented version of my warning? Amber, I'm a very lucky individual who knows they are loved by both family and friends. As such, I'm probably not as afraid as I should be when throwing my friend's concern and warning to the wind. I'm perfectly fine pushing myself further to the outlying fringes of socially acceptable things for content. So, here it is, my quirk. My true, I'm not like every other girl fact, but it's actually very concerning and not at all a fun fact. I have to beat the sun. Now, before you go start typing away in the comments, actually scratch that, please do, engagement is king online. For those who don't know, I'm a morning person who prides themselves in wanting to start off every day strong. I explain as such in my What Now series, which I have linked here or there or in the description below. I don't know, man. I haven't posted on this site in forever. I forget what buttons are. But basically, that drive to start off each day strong and my probably way too competitive nature has created a line of thought that apparently has never crossed any sane person's mind. The best accomplishment you can achieve first thing in the morning is beating the sun itself in waking up. Listen. I know I got a few screws loose. I was one of those individuals who thought about the 100 men versus 1 bear scenario a little too long to be considered healthy. That said, even I know the sun is OP. Just like Bill Wirtz so eloquently said, "The sun is a deadly laser." But in this very specific context, a space orbiting and Earth rotational speed, I can win. I can beat the sun. The way my mind has processed this self-imposed daily challenge is as such. If I rise before the weather app's stated sunrise time, I beat the sun. I can make a cup of coffee and watch with misplaced smugness as the celestial body that powers our world catches up. To observe victory has altered the way I make my bed and my nighttime routine. But because getting to bed should always be last base, let's start with my unusual nighttime routine. For starters, window blinds stay open. I actually despise blackout curtains. An even more horrendous truth of mine, seeing how I live in Arizona, the state in which the sun is more unforgiving than a conservative Catholic nun. When I get ready for bed, after changing and whatnot, my first line of business is to open my window blinds as much as I can. Please keep in mind, I always keep my windows locked at night. I'm more crazy than stupid, after all. As for potential creepers watching me, I'm lucky enough to say I don't live on the ground floor, and lonely enough to say they won't be seeing any action in my bed. If anything, if a creep somehow sprouted wings and decided to use that incredible gift to spy on me, the only movement they might see is me fighting the age-old battle of trying to find the long end of my comforter. So, why do I insist with sleeping with my blinds open? Because when I wake up the next morning, I want to, from the comfort of my burrito bundle, snap my neck to the window and see victory, as plain as the day ahead. I want to see the sky turning pink, the street lights dimming. I want to see the majority of the world still asleep, and that I was victorious in my first contact with consciousness. That is until that one neighborhood runner races across my sight shirtless and already sweating like there's no tomorrow. Listen, even my absurdity has limits. I'm just trying to beat a celestial body, not outrun my problems first thing in the morning. My insurance doesn't have mental health coverage. This need to immediately see victory has also changed the way I make my bed and how I actually sleep. We have all seen those different sleeping position charts that more than often contradict each other and basically tell us our back will always hurt in the morning because of either X, Y, or Z. I have never seen my sleeping position illustrated in one of these charts. Maybe that should have been my first sign that this quirk is really kind of out there. Oops. Actually, you know what? Before I tell you about my sleeping position, I want you guys to tag the feng shui dude because I want to see his genuine reaction to this. I'm sorry, sir, if what I'm about to tell you haunts you longer than the reaction video you will post to this clip. So, you know how beds usually have bed frames with headboards attached to them? As in, there's an explicit orientation in which your bed structure was made? Yeah, well, I sleep with my feet pointing to my headboard. That's right. I sleep upside down on my mattress. To make matters worse, I don't use my body pillow as, a body pillow. I use it as my head pillow at the bottom of my bed so I can rotate on it throughout the night like a gas station hot dog. Now, feng shui guy, before you completely and understandably berate me, let me try and explain my logic for this setup. First off, headboard is now launch board. If Creep with Wings was somehow also given the ability to phase through walls to get into my bedroom, 1, what a waste of talent, and 2, I'm already primed and prepared to crouch down and use my headrest as a launching pad for my feet. My panic response is fight, after all. I got the element of surprise and why in this hypothetical confrontation. Thirdly, I genuinely believe this is the better starting position we should be sleeping in for potential midnight kung fu. Think about it. In the traditional sleeping orientations, you have to scramble to your feet to get into position for combat. In my method, you can literally, without fully getting up, scramble into a mad dog dash attack and use your headboard as a speed boost as the enemy tries to figure out what they're seeing. Granted, now, I haven't tested my sleep position attack potential yet, but judging from everyone who has seen my bed's orientation, they more than often take a moment to process what they're seeing. Now, how did my need to beat the sun influence this arrangement? Well, like a moth to a flame, I wanted to shorten the distance between my eyes and the sight of victory. That's literally it. I'm legally blind without my contacts, so I really need to shorten the distance between me and my window as much as possible. It's actually really bad. So much so that this lovely lady who took my prescription measurements at Jin's in Japan Google translated an apology for how long my glasses were going to take. Do you understand how poor your prescription has to be to get a pity Google translated apology in the heart of Shibuya? Really, really bad. But anyway, in a poor attempt to wrap up this video, apparently wanting to beat the sun in the morning is not normal. I have gotten better at this, thankfully, because my friend had a literal sit down with me and explained, as lovingly as possible, of course, that I'm basically that aforementioned Michael Myers setup, and that I would be the one scaring off any dude if it was my turn to bring them over. I mean, who wouldn't be terrified of an upside-down bed arrangement and their potential partner victory monologuing at the window first thing in the morning? I don't consciously look at the weather app anymore to find the exact sunrise time and create a custom wake-up alarm before it every evening now. But the persisting problem is, this quirk is one of my strongest habits. I have done this for so long. I still wake up before the majority of my friends and family. Heck, I have been awake for 3 hours now, writing the script, and not even the dog has stirred yet. I still sleep with my window blinds open because I really do like the sunlight slowly pouring in, and kind of feel obligated to see Running Man sprinting away from his problems first thing in the morning. It's incredibly impressive, to say the least. As for my sleeping position, if I'm in the comfort of my own home, I do find myself still sleeping upside down. It's been my default sleeping position for the longest time, after all. I don't impose this orientation on anyone else if we're sharing a bed. I had to vehemently assure that to my friend. And well, I also don't like sleeping in this orientation in hotel rooms because even I know that hotels don't actually wash their sheets as often as we believe they should. My need for clean hygiene will always override this habit. I will not be sleeping facing where people's dirty feet were. Confidently, I can say that is not a kink of mine. But for those who maybe it is, there's an idea for you. Hey, you do you, boo. I'm clearly just as strange as you.